I'm Dakota Orff. I'm a rap artist, otherwise known as Dr. Joe. I go to the Institute of Production Recording. I'm born and raised in southern Nebraska in a town called Western. It's a town of 250 people. We moved up to Bemidji, Minnesota with my family. And then I lived there for about 10 years before moving to Minneapolis. I came down here, and you'll hear it in one of the songs. I literally came down here with a bag of clothes, a pair of shoes, and a blanket. I literally say that in one of my songs. I was sacrificing everything just to get down here, just to go to school. I remember back when I was 14, my buddy, Aaron, would always be freestyling, and I actually kind of had a knack for it. It was just kind of all fun and games. My buddy actually, one day, we were trying to figure out how we could start recording music on the computer, and he came over and figured it out. He came over and he told me, he's like, there's this program, Audacity. He also came over with a microphone. I can't remember what kind of microphone he came over with. I'm pretty sure it was a microphone from Rock Band because it had the USB on it. And we started recording on this program Audacity. After we got it all set up on the computer, it took us a little while. We'd find a beat on YouTube, turn it into an MP3, and we just started messing around. And that's really what started everything, of just recording music and producing. And it was just something as small as just rap music, just messing around. I found IPR by searching on the web. I was at home one day and I was trying to do some music and I was trying to learn a new program, and Pro Tools is so big. There's so much to that program. I just got so sick of trying to watch all these videos and taking all this time. I was just like, man, there's just so much there that I'm not gonna know. And there's just nobody around that knew that program, would understand it the way that I wanted to be able to. That's when I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go to college for this. I know that there's schools that could teach me how to do this. And I started searching the web. There's a couple other schools around. I wasn't just looking in Minnesota. Filling out for like brochures. IPR was the one that actually called me back the next day and was asking me if I wanted to set up a tour and stuff. And I was just kind of like blown back. I was like, whoa, like this is way too fast. We're moving too fast right now. But I was just like, screw it. Let's just go with it. If this is the school that's going to reach out to me like this, that are excited to have students come in and join. And I was like, that's the one I chose to do with. The name of my album, I call it Progress. I named it that because I was going through names of what my first album could have been. I was really, really, really digging through some really, really crazy names. One night, I was at the bar with my buddy. We were down in the basement. His name's Aaron. I was telling him about different album names, and he actually came up with the idea for me. And he says, if I was coming out with my first album, he's like, I'd call it Progress. And I was just like, you know what, man? I was like, that is such a great name. He's like, yeah, dude. And I was like, let me buy that off of you for a beer. And we were all drinking and stuff like that. Of course, he sold it. He's like, done. He's like, have it. So I bought him a beer for the name Progress. And I've been sitting on that name for almost 2 years now. Actually, I think it's been a little bit longer than that. It's probably been almost 3 years now. I chose to do an album because there's just a thing about an album, and I'm sure any music geek could agree, an album kind of tells a story. Whether if it's in the lyrics or the feelings or whatever it is, just the thing that surrounds an album, it can make anybody look more professional in a way. It shows that you're dedicated to time and effort, and then you're also patient. I've been working on my album for almost 1.5 years now. That's just kind of like why I chose to do an album. I've released some singles here and there. They're not that great, in my opinion. A couple of them are really, really good, but that was all music that I recorded before I came to IPR and was an actual professional. I just love the idea of an album. It's a whole story from beginning to end. I chose this genre of music because I feel like this is it's just what I love most. I listen to a lot of G-Eazy, and I like the way he rapped, and that's kind of like where a lot of my style comes from. But I like rap music because I've just been doing it for so long. I've played a little guitar, I've sang a little bit here and there. That's just not my thing. My dad always tries to get me to sing. I like to get my inspiration from the biggest and the best in my head, G-Eazy. That's where I reside a lot of my inspiration, and I kind of get my style and everything. Artists like Sia, a lot of Lana Del Rey. I listen to lots of Lana Del Rey. I also get a lot of my inspiration from Kid Cudi as well. I grew up listening to a lot of Kid Cudi before I even knew who G-Eazy was. There was a lot of Kid Cudi and rappers like him. Dizzy Wright, Logic is another one I get my inspiration from. Hopsin is another one too. I really, really loved Hopsin. My buddy Aaron listened to Hopsin all the time when we were growing up. So I heard all of his music all the time, whether if I wanted to or not. My leader or a follower? That's a good question. I like to think of myself as a leader, but I always put myself in a place of a follower though. You have to know how to follow before you can lead. And that's the thing that sticks in my mind the most. If I'm gonna be a leader, I have to know how to follow. So I always put myself in a place of following, so that way my ears are always open to somebody else's opinion and whatnot. What do I do for fun? I like to sit in the studio a lot. I sit in the studio as much as I can. To me, that's fun. Creating a beat, writing lyrics, even if I'm producing music for other people. That is the best thing in the world to me. That is the thing that I love most. That's the thing that is the most fun to me. What gets me up in the morning is what I'm doing next. The days that I sleep in, I always think to myself, it's like noon and I'll be getting up, and I always think to myself, like, man, that's 4 hours I could have been working. That's 4 hours I could have been doing something with my life. Like, I literally just wasted that time laying in bed doing nothing. Sometimes I'm up till 4 or 5 in the morning working on music because that's the only time I have to myself. You know, going to school full time, and then I also work full time, you know, as a server. The only time I have is from 11 o'clock at night till 4 or 5 in the morning. Even only getting a couple hours of sleep, I'll still get up at 8 in the morning. I'll still do my best to get up at 8 or 9 in the morning. Man, if I'm gonna do this, I have to work. I have to work at it. Like, you know, you reap what you sow. What am I gonna do next? Probably release a couple more singles. I want to collaborate with more artists. Anybody's always welcome to hit me up. You can find me anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. I'm always looking to like collaborate. If you need services done as far as producing, I'm always willing to produce a song or record, engineer. What I'm going to do next as far as me goes though is I want to definitely start working on another album. Anybody could be a competitor. It could be friendly competition. I'm so focused on what I got to do in order to get what I think I need to get in order to satisfy myself. I don't think about the haters at all. I do got a few of them here and there. I'm sure they talk behind my back. There's not too many people that say stuff to my face. This album is just, it just means the world to me. All these songs were created at different stages of my life when different things happened to me. So regardless if it's talking about my personal life or whether if I'm telling a story, this album has emotions and it just has everything about me wrapped up into it. And I just feel like it states who I am. It represents my soul, and I'm so excited for people to hear it. I want to give special thanks to one particular individual out of everybody, and that's Arthur Hay. He's been there by my side through and through this album. He's been there every step of the way. He has been there for almost every note that I played, or every kick sound that I made, every lyric that I wrote. He has been there, and it has been troublesome times to get this album done and pushed out. I've been through so much. I also want to give a special shout out to my girlfriend, JoJo, my daughter, Lana, best thing in my world, my dad, my mom, my 2 sisters, my whole family. I just want to let you guys know how much I love you. I really, really appreciate how much you guys have supported me and everything that I've done, and all my friends and everything, everybody who's watching back at home. Hey, make sure everybody checks out my album. It's coming out on March 15th, Progress.